Hello, good morning. I want to welcome you once again to this network basics training. If you have, if this is the first time you are joining us, this is training for beginners, networking, those who want to learn networking, those who are new to the networking environment, those who are network administrators, those who are managing cafes, those who want to understand the concepts of networking. Even those who intend to go into cybersecurity, you need the fundamentals of networking. So this course is all about that. You feel free to join the module 1 and the introductory session so that you can be able to comprehend what we are talking about. At the same time, I want to encourage you to subscribe and then click the notification bell, click like, so that you can always get a notification once we release any video. Today, particularly, we'll be focusing on Module 2, Network Components, Type, and Connections. Okay? Network components, types, and connection. And we'll be focusing on the concept of a client and a server. We'll explain the role of a client and the server when it comes to network. Okay, we'll look at network components and explain the roles of network infrastructure devices. And then we'll look at ISP connectivity options. If some of these words are strange to you, don't worry. We're going to look at one by one and we'll get to understanding. So what is a client and what is a server? What is a client? What is a server? Okay. Now, a client and a server are very important elements when it comes to networking. It's like in a real life. If I am a businessman, I will have clients. Okay? I'll have clients. Who are these clients? They are the people that I give my services to. If I'm a lawyer, for instance, I have my clients that I render my services to. If I am a doctor, my clients are called my patients. Okay, so those people that I render services to are my clients. So I that render the services, I am the service provider. Okay, so a server is like a service provider. A client is somebody who needs the services of a service provider. That's just the analogy. So all computers connected to a network that participates directly in network communication are classified as hosts. Now, when you want to set up a network, there are three things that we actually need. Okay, you need what we call the end devices. The end devices are at the beginning of your traffic and at the end of your traffic, which means the devices that generate this traffic, maybe your laptop, your mobile phone, your camera, your biometric devices, your scanner, any of these devices that you use, whether in your home, in your office, or in your organization that generate data, they are called end devices. Okay, so to form a network, you need end devices. Okay, then you need what they call intermediary devices. The intermediary devices are the devices in the middle. What do? They are the ones that control the flow of this particular traffic. Okay, so you have your end devices that generate the traffic. You have your intermediary devices that control the flow. It's like traffic water. If you go to a road, you know that there's a crossroad like this. You see a traffic water in the middle. It stops these cars coming this way and this one goes this way. So when you are coming, you trafficate. So the traffic water sees your trafficator and knows that this is where you're going to. That's the intermediary devices. So what connects them is what they call the network media. That's the medium. So the medium is what connects either end devices to end devices or end devices to intermediary devices. So when we say end devices, most of the times we are referring to them as hosts. Okay, we are referring to them as hosts. So we say computers connected in a network that participates directly in network communications are classified as hosts. So in modern networks, computer hosts act as clients. All right, they serve as clients. So because they are the one looking for service, they are the one going to look for a lawyer, they're the ones going to look for a doctor, they're the ones going to look for an engineer, they're the ones going to provide a service. But do you know there are instances that even the clients themselves can even prefer one small service or the other? So there are instances that a host can be a server. So in this case, our clients are the one requesting for service. The service provider is the one called the server. So there are instances in modern computers, you will see that a client can serve as a server and is a client. What do I mean? For the fact that I am an engineer, I provide engineering services to my clients. Tomorrow, so that means I am a server. Tomorrow, I will go to need the services of a lawyer. So I will go to a lawyer and then I will be the client of the lawyer. So today I am a server, tomorrow I can be a client. That is what we are saying here. So software installed on a computer determines which role that the computer plays. So you have the computer, whether it is a client or a server, they are the same thing. So what is the definition then? A server is a dedicated computer that provides services to clients. And a client is a computer that requests services of a server. That's all. So for instance, you have email services. So the guy that provides email services is called an email server. So an email server runs email software. Then the guys that collect emails are called email clients. So you can have email clients on your phone, on your system, and things like that, right? Then you have another one called the web service. They are all services. So the web services, on the other side, what does it do? It provides web opportunities for clients to be able to browse. So the web server runs web server software. So when you are trying to browse the website, different website, those pages that you are checking, they are actually sitting on a computer somewhere. So that computer is the web server, because that web server is a computer that runs web services. Then you have a file server. A file server is just like a computer that keeps a lot of files. So anytime you need to access certain files, you go to the file server. So the file server stores corporate and user files in a central location. So the client devices access these files with client software, such as Explorer. Okay? Servers are hosts that have softwares installed which enable them to provide information like email, web pages, and other hosts. So each service requires a separate server software. So you can have one particular server or one particular computer that has multiple services. So it is one computer, it is providing web service, it's providing email service, it's providing file services. You can have that. Okay, so, but the most important thing is that there is a service that is installed on it. Now, there's what we call a peer-to-peer network. A peer-to-peer network is like peers. When you are talking about peers, you are talking about people of equal minds. Okay, people of equal minds. Now, a client and a server are not of equal minds because one is the service provider, the other one is the service receiver. In a peer-to-peer network, both of them are clients, both of them are servers. Both of them can serve as both client and server, depending on the opportunity at the time. So if I have a PC here, one, I have another PC here, And then here I have movies. Here I have audio, like MP3 and things like that. Then I decide to make a one-to-one connection with these systems without an intermediary device. Without an intermediary device. Today, this PC serves as a client. Then this one serves as a server. Why? Because this PC1 wants to download audio files, sorry. Tomorrow, this PC2 is serving as a client while PC1 is serving as a server. Why? Because PC2 wants to access movies. So that is it. So the whole idea of network is just to share resources. You want to share files, you want to share resources and things like that. So you establish a way you can connect amongst yourselves. And that is it. So the simplest P2P network consists of two directly connected computers using either wired or wireless connection. So both of them can be client and can be server. All right. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is it is easy to set up. It is less complex, lower cost because network devices and dedicated servers may not be required. And they can be used for multiple tasks such as transferring files and sharing printers. So this guy can say, I have a printer connected to me. So I can share my printer so that you can print from my system. So this PC here would be able to print this printer. So that makes this guy a print server. This guy says, I have files to share. And then you will tell the other PC, oh, I can be able to share my files with you. So it makes this guy be able to share, to collect files from that. So that's the concept. So a P2P application allows a device to act as both client and server. Every client is a server and every server is a client. Both clients can simultaneously send and receive messages. P2P applications require that each end device provides a user interface to run at the background. I'm sure some of you have used maybe Android phones to send data, maybe using Xender or Bluetooth. So you use your phone to connect to another phone and then you send files, either using Xender or using transfer or something like that. That is the P2P. So some P2P applications use a hybrid system where resource sharing is decentralized, but the indexes that point to the resources locations are stored in a centralized directory. All right? In a hybrid system, each peer accesses the index server to get the location of the resource stored on another. Right? So that is just the concept. Still talking about client and server, multiple roles in a network. This is the server. It has web services. It has email services. It has web services. It has file services. One machine. One machine. So you have a client that is accessing file services from it. You have another client that is accessing web services from it. You have another client that is accessing web browser file access. You have another client that is accessing email, things like that. All of them are going. So a single server can be all of the above. In that case, that particular machine is carrying out what we call multiple roles. So for that machine to carry these multiple roles, it must be strong. It must be robust. It must be, how do we put it now? It must have the capacity now. It's like one man marrying multiple wives. Aha. You must be ready to accommodate the demands. You must be ready. That is just the whole thing. Okay. Now, let's look at network components. We are going to go into another dimension since we have understood the concept of client and server. Let's look at the infrastructure that makes up a network. We want to set up a network. Network. I want to set up network. What are those infrastructure? What are those devices? Like what I have said earlier on, there are three things you just need to know. There's what they call the end devices, the intermediary devices, and the network media. That's all you need to know. These three elements are what makes a network. Now, end devices, like we said, are devices that generate the traffic. For instance, you have desktop, you have IP phone, you have laptop, you have a tablet, you have telepresence point, you have a printer, you have your smart TV, you have your smartwatch. All those devices, they are network devices. They are end devices. Then the intermediary devices are the devices that stands in between the network devices. And particularly, they help to control the flow of that traffic. So you have the wireless router, you have the multi-layer switch, you have the LAN device, firewall appliance router. In case you don't know what these devices are, you don't need to worry. Yes, this is an introductory course, and there's a lot that we can learn. All right, from introductory, we will get to advanced. So don't forget to click the notification bell and click subscribe so that you can be able to get notified. The network media actually talks about wireless LAN and wireless LAN. Each of those we're going to be talking about very soon. Now, let's look at the end devices. The network devices that people are most familiar with are called end devices or hosts. Computers, workstations, laptops, file servers, web servers, both clients and servers, they are all end devices. Network printers, telephones, security cameras, mobile devices, PDAs, smartphones, debit cards, card readers, barcode scanners, smartwatch, smart car, smart TV, all those things, they are end devices. Why? Because they are the source and they can be the destination, right? So an end device or host is either the source or destination of a message transmitted over a network. So to uniquely identify host, addresses are used. It's like when you go to school. Let's say maybe you go to the university, they will give you what they call matriculation number. That matriculation number is a unique number that only identifies you. Or if you are in a country that you have social security number, that number is unique to you, or your national identity number, or your bank verification number. All these number that they give you, they are just unique number that has detail about who you are. That's all. So if somebody gets that unique number, he has all the details that you need. So for any end device to belong to a network, that end device needs to have that number. It's a special address. And from that number alone, you can tell where the computer is, where it is coming from, what is its family name, and things like that. So they need that unique address. We will talk about addressing much later. So when a host initiates communication, it uses the address of the destination host to specify where the message should be sent. It's like writing letter. Yeah? So I have a letter I want to send to somebody special. Yeah? So I have written the letter, hey, Rose, I'm writing this with a basket of love. I love you. I die for you flat. Talk your own. Then I put it inside the envelope. Once I put it in the envelope, what do? Behind the envelope, I am going to address it. When you are addressing it, do you put your name? No. You put the name of the sender. But that is not enough. You will put the address of the sender. So you put the sender's information. Then you take it to the post office or you call the mailman and you send it. Even if it is email that you want to send, the email address you are going to assign, is it your email address? No, you're going to put the email address of the receiver. So, sorry, the mail that I said is not the sender, is the receiver's address you're going to put. Sorry, I think it's a mistake. So in the mail, you put in your name and then you put the receiver's details. The person that is going to receive, that is Rose details. So in the same email address, you're going to also put the receiver's details. All right. Now, let's look at the last component, ISP Connectivity Options. ISP stands for internet service provider. When we say internet service provider, you know, we've been talking about this internet. Where is it? In our last class, we observed that nobody owns the internet. It's just an interconnection of different networks around the globe. Okay. Now, if you have formed a network, let's say PC1, PC2, let's say PC3. So you have formed, okay, let's put an intermediary device here. So this one comes here, this one comes here, this one comes here. So this middle one is not there. So let's assume that PC 1, 2, 3 are connected to a network and they're sharing devices. This is your intermediary device. They're sharing resources. Maybe that's a router or a switch or whatever. So they are sharing resources within this local network. And now you want to start accessing resources that are outside your local network. You want to access resources that are out in a bigger internet, bigger network around the globe. You need what they call a service provider, an internet service provider that will link you to the cloud. So it will connect you, it will connect you like this. So anybody here, whether 1, 2, 3, that wants to access any resource outside their local domain, the traffic will have to go out through this guy. So the internet service provider provides the link between a network and the internet. Many ISPs also offer additional services to their subscribers. All right. So they give you different services. What other services they give? Sometimes they give you web hosting services. They give you FTP. They give you application hosting, media, technical support, VoIP, POP, equipment, and so on and so forth. All these other services they give you in addition to granting you access. So it's like in your house, in your estate. Let's say this is an estate. This is an estate. There is one house here. There's another house here. This is the main road in the estate. There's another house. There's another house. There's another house. There's another house. In that estate, there's a major gate here. There's a major gate. So you see, house 1 can talk to house 2. House 2 can talk to, they can talk to each other. All of them can relate with each other. So far they are within the estate. They don't need to go to the gate. They don't need the service provider. But once they want to go to the market, or once they want to go to school, or they want to go somewhere far to the office, they will need the services of the gate man, because this is the door to the world. Okay, so that is just the concept. So each ISP connects to other ISPs to form a network of links that interconnect users over the world. ISPs are connected in hierarchical manner that ensures that internet traffic generally takes the shortest path from the source to the destination. Internet service provides high-speed data links to connect the various service provider networks in major metropolitan areas around the world. So the primary medium that connects the internet backbone is fiber optic installed underground to connect cities within the continent. All right? Connect cities within the continent. So that is basically, what it is showing us over there. Okay? All right. So let's continue. ISP connections, the interconnected ISP that forms the backbone of the internet are complex of fiber optic cables. Now, when we say fiber optic cables, remember we talked about network media. Network media is at the backbone. All right, and it's what conveys the traffic. So fiber is one of the network media because it helps to convey traffic using pulses of light, and it carries it over long distances. So because of that, ISPs use it in order to send information around. So, for instance, this is a particular local area network where you have users that are connected there, right? Now, that set of network is connected to a router. That router is what serves them, and it's going to be like a border. So this router is like a wireless router. So let's call it maybe MTN SIM router or Airtel or Glo or maybe any router. Okay, that particular router is connected to what we call a modem, and that is the guy that leads you to the internet. All right, that leads you to the internet. So the concept is very, very simple. Most home network users connect internet through either cable or DSL. DSL means digital subscriber line. So maybe in your home, sometimes you connect through cable, meaning you tell MTN or Glo, oh yeah, come and connect me. They will come and connect you. Or they will even connect maybe using Starlink. Yeah, you can connect using Starlink, or you can even buy simple router and then connect. So there are different ways that you can connect and have internet connection. So DSL means digital subscriber line and provides high bandwidth, always on connection to the internet. It requires a special high-speed medium that separates DSL signal from telephone signals and provide an Ethernet connection to a host computer or a LAN. Okay? Now, previously, what they do is that they use telephone lines. You know, there was a time they used a telephone line in order to be able to provide you this internet. But now things have evolved. Now, finally, there are additional connectivity options that are being viewed, right? Additional connectivity, which is cellular. Cellular connects using the same cell service as smartphone, all right? So, which means I can pick my phone because I have a SIM card, I can open my hotspot and connect, okay? So that's one way you can get internet. Or you use satellite, provides capable bandwidth internet connectivity to remote users, where you use like Starlink, or maybe if you go to this telecom, you put a dish, where they put a dish facing somewhere, or you buy this, there's a technology called VSAT. You set up a VSAT and then you set up that. But when they say remote users, you can go to any village and you set it up. Why? Because it's like a dish like this and it points to the sky. So far in that village, you can see the sky. In that village, you can see the sky. Then you'll be able to know that you are good. Then finally, dial-up telephone, an inexpensive option that uses any landline, or modem. So like I said, in some technologies, you use telephone lines in order to connect to internet. So this is what we have looked at, the concept of network components. I want to believe this has been informative to you. It has. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and then click the notification bell. Thank you, and see you in the next chapter, which is the module 3. If you have not watched module 1 or module 2, I advise you to do so. Thank you. Have a lovely day. See you next time.